Welcome to another edition of my vlog. We're going to talk about Assassinate the Mild-Mannered Reporter, Chapter 5. And this chapter is called Sighting In. Um, and I'm showing the cover once again because I wanted to point out when I first thought of this book, I wanted, I knew there was going to be an assassination attempt with a rifle at some point. So that's one of the reasons for the gun barrel look down at my mild mannered reporter. And yeah, well, so yeah, that's coming down the road still, the actual assassination attempt with the rifle. And it's like, uh, I my first thought though was still the lethal injection, and so I'm so glad I wrote that in chapter two and got that out of the way, and I wanted some lead into this second attempt with the rifle, and I wanted to show how good of a shot uh, Agent Knight is, and so I thought of this shooting range and what I could do there to show just how good of a shot he was. And there's some technical terms in there like windage and DMR for what he codename talks about his sniper rifle. Um, and yeah, so there's this whole conversation in the first half of the chapter, and it's him getting released from the hospital. And originally this was going to be a short conversation, but I thought I'd have a little bit of conflict with Agent Sharp. He volunteered to give Knight a ride back to the van, but now Knight's being a little pushy. He's kind of like, "Hey, get my DMR and get um, that way when I go from the van, I can practice." And yeah, that's by the way, DMR is designated marksman rifle. He's speaking in code over the phone, by the way, in this, and he points that out as he's talking, because he it is an unsecured line. He never talks about targets. He doesn't actually say he's going to the shooting range. He's going to practice. Things like that. He's very clever with his words to get the point across the Sharp. But if anybody happens to be listening and they won't know what's going on. Anyway, the conflict with Sharp. Sharp is he kind of is like, why aren't you resting more? You just were put in the hospital. There's why are you rushing back into this? And Knight's like, what? Why delay? Let's get this done. This is going to be over with tonight. I just need to get my rifle, get it sighted in. Let's go. You know. Um, so yeah, Sharp eventually does come around, and it's kind of, I guess, type mentality. But so anyway, the last half of the chapter is at the rifle range, and he says it's taken him an hour to get it sighted in the way he wanted, and then he's taking 5 practice shots with Sharp right over his shoulder, and Sharp's like, yeah, hit, 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 and Knight's looking through his scope and he doesn't see any bullet holes on his target, and that's partly because there's a crosswind at the time he's practicing, and he sighted in his rifle for no wind. And why has he done that? Because the conditions, he's already looked at the weather report coming up. There's not going to be any wind when he's going to be taking the shot um, against Clay Kendrick. So he's already prepared for that. And what he has done is put up 2 targets and made them overlap. They're 18-inch targets, made them overlap by 2 inches. So the center of each target is 16 inches apart, and that's the windage it would be at 500 yards at a 10-mile-per-hour wind to aim at one target and hit the other. So he's hitting the forehead 5 times in a very close grouping, And he's like, "No, they're not right on top of each other because the wind. The wind is varying just a little bit. It's not exactly 10 miles per hour. It's it's 9 gusting up to 11 or something. It's the little things there, and that's why he's telling himself that that's why they're not right on top of each other. Although a grouping like that at 500 yards is incredible. So, I mean, he's kind of playing it off as, it's not he could do better or something. I'm really showing that this guy is a good shot. And not saying, not just coming out and saying, "Hey, this guy's a good shot." No, I'm showing it, and Sharp's impressed. So, and Sharp at this, he's really come into this novel a lot more than what I had originally planned for him to be, and that's kind of been interesting having him be this sidekick type person for Knight and taking a bigger role here. So I like that they're playing off of each other, and it's a nice. He's a well-defined secondary character at this point, and he's taken a fairly significant role here. I'm hoping I can keep that going. I think I will throttle him back a little at this point because this sniper shot's going to be a one-man job. So, um, yeah, I don't foresee him coming in the next chapter, but maybe down the road later in the novel, we can have Sharp come back and do more of his antics and be more of a conflict too. So check out my website. Keep staying tuned in with my vlogs, and hopefully you'll see some coming soon. I am going to take a step back because I'm getting another book ready. I got another collection of short stories put together. I'm going to be fine tuning that next several weeks probably, and so it may be a little while before I get another chapter written in Assassinate the Mild Mannered Reporter. But yeah, stay tuned.